if you want to participate today, you'll actually need to go to that site. bit.ly/GDrive101. I'll let you take that down and bookmark it in your computer or iPad or wherever you want to bookmark it. Take a second. Anybody not know what I'm talking about when I say bookmark? I'm just asking. You'd be surprised. I do a lot of professional development, right? We just gotta ask. We cannot assume that people know what we're talking about. But hopefully you know what a URL is. so anybody going, what's this Google thing? What are these people talking about? What is this Google thing these people keep talking about this conference? Alright. So Google Docs is essentially, or Google Drive is essentially Google Docs with some added features and a rebranding. So if you've used Google Docs before, you kind of know what it is, which is kind of cool. But for those of you that don't know, Google Drive is online. Spreadsheets, presentations, docs, forms, drawings, and other miscellaneous things that they keep adding in there. That's a great part about Google, is it keeps changing. Some people don't like that, because you turn around, you blink, and you're like, shoot, all those training materials I developed are totally worthless. Awesome. You reinvest another 3 or 4 hours on that. But it is exciting because we're always getting the latest release, and I love that. You know, for good or the bad, sometimes it's a little frustrating, but a lot of times you get all these awesome features. But it's online. It's all online. I mean, that's what's the best part about Drive. But the significance for me and what I saw the power of Docs and Drive when I started using it 4 or 5 years ago when it first rolled out was, it was a game changer for me. I knew it sucked then, because it did. It was terrible. Anybody start using it like 4 or 5 years ago?
Drive?
Yeah, when you're like, this is pretty terrible. Not a replacement for Office. But I could see the power was the collaboration. And that's what sold me on it. And I knew that and the fact that it was freely available, I was like, free? What? I work in a charter school. I had no money. And it was like, awesome. I can give this to all my kids. Are you kidding me? Great. But I can have them share and collaborate in real time, and that's important, being able to collaborate in real time, but also being able to collaborate asynchronously when we're not in the same place at the same time. And how many of you used to send these big, terrible PowerPoint presentations that were like 20 megabytes, Exchange server would kick it out, you're trying to send them back and forth, you're trying to incorporate revisions, that just drove me batty. When I saw this, I was like, oh, this solves all those problems for me. Now I don't have to waste all this time. So how does Docs work? Essentially, create a new document. But when you're in your Google Drive, you click Create, choose what type of document, then you share it. Share it with the world, and you can let anybody collaborate on it. That's what I'm doing for the doc, but what we'll have in here. And then share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your loved ones, share it with your students. But ultimately, the fact that we can all collaborate is pretty powerful, and we'll get a chance to do all this together and see if we can crash the system, which is always fun. But the collaboration. Anybody use the comments feature in Docs? Yes, love it. So if you attended one of my prior sessions, I'm sorry, but I definitely love the commenting and feedback features for using it for anything. So conference planning, we use it we comment on each other's any notes we're making. For my students, when I was teaching, I didn't tell you who I am, did I? You can tell I'm tired. It's been a long conference. When I was teaching with my middle schoolers, it was a good opportunity for me to give them a lot of feedback on their writing, because they sucked at it. Let's be honest. And it's also, as they got into high school, they sucked at writing. A lot of them did. And it was an opportunity to really improve their writing in a low failure environment, and be able to get them feedback quickly. The biggest challenge that I always had when I taught 4th grade a while back, many years ago. And the biggest challenge that I had was being able to get feedback to them while they were still wanting to write. Because you know how hard it is to get kids, like some, especially boys, in the zone of writing, and then if it's not, they don't get the feedback quickly, then they just kind of move on, and they have a hard time getting started again. So whatever I could do to kind of keep them in that zone, that writing zone, the better. But I struggled with that because I was mostly working with paper. So, you know, jump in Google Docs, and I've got the ability to give that rapid feedback as kids are going through things. They share something with me, I could sit at a computer in a classroom of kids and just kind of whip through things, and as they need feedback, I just pop in, give them feedback, they can continue writing. Or we can give feedback at the same time that they're writing, which is pretty powerful. So obviously when we talk about the implications for teaching and learning, well, big implications are kids need to learn to collaborate. How many of you have to collaborate on projects at your school or at your district? How many of you are working in department teams? It requires collaboration. We've got to spend the time and let's be frank, how many of us are good at collaboration? All right, yeah, you're fooling yourself. No, I'm just kidding. No, I joke, but honestly, I take it for granted now, but no one taught us how to collaborate when I was in school, which was a huge gap in my learning, I would say. And then you're trying to take this now, we're in this world where it's easy to collaborate online, but you gotta teach the kids the norms of how to collaborate and how to assign roles and how to follow up. And I love that Docs allowed me to teach my students how to do that. So every semester, it was like the first few days of school were focused on getting them using the tools, but obviously in a project that was interesting to them, all about me, different things like that, but designing it so that my kids would start collaborating and using the tools day 1, day 2, day 3, so that we had something that they would get the practice early, so I could get the crappy projects out of the way, right? No one laughs. It's true though. With the beginning, the projects are, for a while they struggle, they argue, they fight, he's not doing his work, but then eventually they get it and they all start to work pretty well. So, what can it do for our students? Well, I like to focus on the ISTE-NET standards of what it really can do. So obviously developing collaboration skills is a huge thing, and that to me is the #1 feature of Google Docs, the ability to collaborate. Second being that it's available anytime, anywhere. And they can work on reports, research, things together. They can give peer feedback really easily and readily, and it's a good opportunity for them to actually learn to accept criticism from someone else other than their teacher. And that's hard for some kids, and also learn how to give good criticism. So for us, we had all of our kids doing presentations, and they would all rate feedback, and it was anonymous. And they did a really good job of pointing out where a student didn't meet the rubric requirements, or they talked about, I really liked this particular thing, I thought you could have improved on that. So I really like that process of being able to kind of offload some of this to Google Docs and have it readily available for them to work on together. Use forms to collect data, so use forms in combination with spreadsheets. I used to I taught first grade, and we'd do a healthy eating survey. So we'd all come up with the questions, write them on the board, and then I'd take them and make a document out of, print them off in the copier room, hand them to the kids, they'd send them home with a little note. So eventually, days, weeks, sometimes several weeks later, we'd get all those surveys back, and then I'd have to collate the data. Awesome, right? It's just another thing you've got to do. Now, with the ability to push those types of things out fast and get the data and the feedback quickly, it's so awesome to be able to push out a survey through Facebook to kids to parents. Let's find out what our kids are eating at home. Let's analyze what kids are eating. Everybody's eating healthy, right? But but the reality of being able to kind of gather that information quickly and then allowing our students to analyze that data fast really makes this whole process more valuable in the long run. It's not that let's collect some data and wait. They can actually work on it pretty quickly. And it's also pretty exciting when kids sit there and they watch the actual form responses come in. They're like, it's kind of exciting. You like it too. All right. So, and then obviously, oops, I moved it. And then obviously the accessing documents in class or at home. Well, I don't know about you, but we always had equitable access issues, right? Everybody's got those, even if you're in an affluent district. But the fact that they could do work on something at home, they could go to a library, I didn't have to worry about it being filtered or blocked or anything like that. I knew that they could get access somewhere if they wanted to. I didn't require assignments, but at the same time, I wanted them to work on things. And it was great to see, as I watched my students progress in their skills in terms of collaboration, see when they were working on things together. Kind of look at the revision history for a document and see that they might have been working on something at 11:30 at night. It's like, wow, really? That's crazy. Or on a holidays, I had docs where I was like looking at the kids were working on like Thanksgiving and things like that on something that wasn't due for a while. But to see them actually do that is pretty exciting. All right. So what can I do for you as a teacher? Collaborate and share curriculum plans. Anybody have to do that among your department? Pacing and planning and all of those things. Customizing assignments for students. Obviously, this is a quick and easy way to push assignments out or individualized assignments for kids. Because sometimes you have those students you need to make adjustments for. I've had those in the past where I needed to really, and I didn't want them to feel isolated or somehow different than the other kids. So I just assigned them something different in Docs and they would never know the difference. Create a simple web page with Docs publishing. Anybody ever do that? It's awesome. You basically create a doc, embed it, or put it on a website, and it updates every time you update it, if you want it to. Share and collect assignments without printing. How many of you have gone so far as to go paperless? Anybody? Oh, excellent. Jeez. Why don't you guys come up here and lead the session, all right? So paperless classroom is it's really awesome if you can get to that point, because the ability to create share docs and never have to print something off is huge. Saves a lot of money and it's a lot more efficient. But then again, the feedback for kids is to me the exciting. So, what's in it for me? I'm getting text messages. So, Google Drive, what's the big change that makes it so different than Google Docs? Well, one of the things is the fact that you can now download what's called Google Drive. It's an app, and you install it on your computer, your laptop or your PC or your Mac, and I can now sync whatever I want to. So, for example, let me zoom in here a little bit. It creates a new folder on my Mac that's called Google Drive, and what I do then is I've dropped a big folder that I put together in Finder. It's called C-MacBook Pro, and what that ultimately does is it syncs everything on my MacBook into the cloud. It's awesome. I have to pay for storage. They give me 5 gigabytes for free, but you can pay for extra storage. But it's awesome because what I like about it is that I no longer have to worry that this device will die, because it will. And once it dies, I still have all my documents. So you'll see, like for us, for myself, I shuttle between this or a Chromebook or some of these other things, and I always have access to my docs. That's pretty awesome. No longer do I have to buy like Mozy or Carbonite or any of these other things that really kind of drag your system down. The syncing is fast, like I kid you not. I would create an Adobe Illustrator file and it would be synced within 20-30 seconds after so pretty cool. That to me is one of the things. And then offline access. Offline access is pretty weak right now, I'll admit it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I see you have Dropbox there too, so are you using Dropbox as well, or is Drive?
I use Dropbox to share all of my illegally downloaded music files. That's all my pirated things. No. No, you don't believe me now.
Well played, sir.
A teacher is supposed to model ethical and
yeah, it's
so yes, I have Dropbox installed because of the fact that some people want to send me Dropbox packages and things like that, and so I use it. I use Drive much more, but Dropbox can be convenient for certain things if you want to push large files readily and really quickly and easily. So I do that. I do use that. So offline access. So we had offline access a long time ago with this thing called Google Gears, and then they took it away, and now they're bringing it back. So what does offline access mean? Well, it means that I can actually edit a document offline, and then when I come back on, like, let's say we had all of our Wi-Fi went down. I shouldn't say that. Terrible. Now I'm gonna be blamed. But if I was offline for whatever reason, I'm on an airplane and there's no Wi-Fi, I could still work on docs, and then when it comes back online, it syncs. How that all works out in reality, I don't yet know. Because there's a lot of questions that I have, because I haven't, like, do my changes sync up directly with someone else's changes, or, you know, those kinds of
it's
funny
a
things.
collaborated document.
Yeah, collaborations and things like that. But right now, the pipeline is they're doing Word or docs, documents. Next up is from what I believe is going to be spreadsheets, and then ultimately work their way through these other things. So that's going to be really nice when we have full offline access, because then we don't have to. We could monitor our bandwidth at schools. We could work offline, and our kids could work on the go and not have to have access to the Wi-Fi. I think that's pretty important. So once we get there, I'm going to be pretty thrilled.
That's huge.
So when you use Drive offline, you just go to Google Drive and
Yeah. So if I
Yeah, show us.
I don't want to. Oh, you want me to get offline? All right, fine. Fine. Actually, let me unplug my. There we go. So when I go into my Finder here, and I'm now offline, if I go into Google Drive, you can see all the files that are synced there. Let me find one that I know is a doc here. So you see these are called labeled .gdoc, .gsheet. Those are Google Doc files that are synced. So let's see if I can access this. It probably will not let me access this one.
Yeah, try that one. PowerPoint. What else?
Thinking. Okay, this one tells me it's not available yet, right? So then when I go back in, but now I can access here. I'm accessing a doc, and now it opens up my doc. And look at that, I can make edits. I'm offline right now, and I can make edits on my document. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Makes me excited. Yeah.
What if I want to drop in a Word doc into my Drive while it's offline, or online for that matter?
If you want to drop
If I just pull one right into the.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know,
essentially to do that, all I need to do is wherever your file is located, just basically, you see how there's little check marks?
Right.
That tells me it's synced right now. So if I add a new document, it'll do a little rotating sign next to it, and then it'll sync it. And if you're offline, it won't sync, but when you come online, it will sync.
But it'll just take a Word doc or a PowerPoint, whatever, and just.
It won't convert it though, if that's your question. You have to do the manual conversion yourself. Like you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does this work if you're in a school environment and you have children, we're not in a one-to-one situation?
Don't do it.
Okay.
That is my advice. Don't go there. So we don't have our students download it because we don't want them. We're in a similar situation. We have students sharing devices, and you don't want multiple accounts syncing. You can't actually have multiple accounts syncing, so it's problematic.
But like right now, like today was the first day I even used Google Drive, and in order to be able to use it, I had to download Google Drive.
Well, you don't have to. Okay, so that's a clarifying point. You don't have to actually download and install the application to use it.
It seemed like I had to.
They kind of make you think you do, but you don't. So they're kind of sneaky like that, Google. But no, you don't have to. So our kids on our Google Apps domain all have Drive accounts now, but they don't download the applications. So they all can still create, share, collaborate, do all those things,
That's the better part.
but they don't need to install the offline access. So
So
they just lose that little
for
feature, but for them it doesn't really matter because guess what? All their docs are in the clouds anyways. So
Could they do it at home?
they could do it at home, but they can do it at home. I can restrict it as a domain administrator, so I can check it. Right now, it's not. It's at the top level. It's not. It's either an all or nothing thing right now. So I either say yes, you can download it, and that means everybody, or no, you can't. So for when Google rolled this out to Google Apps domains, it was May. I had a heart attack. Are you kidding me? Right at the end of the school year, you're gonna freak everybody out. So I just basically said, I sent an email out and said, just ignore the Google Drive.
Yeah, I remember
until
that.
school's out.
I weirded out.
And so I shut off the ability to download it and all that. And so that meant at the end of the year was seamless. It was awesome. I loved it. And then I sent an email to staff and said, if you want to play with Google Drive now, you can install it on your work laptop. You're good to go. Awesome. And we'll do some training in the fall. Oh, by the way, I'm leaving as of July 10th. So, sorry. I took a new job. Yeah.
When you're saying don't use it,
I think it will be easier to download without administrative permission versus you have to
Yes.
pay to your ROS to let you upload, what most people do Dropbox.
local account, or if
It's big.
you're talking about even if they all have their own
When I
accounts
say,
or network accounts or.
well, when I say, basically when you download and install the Drive app on your local hard drive, what it does is it requires you to sync it to an account. So it syncs to my, so if you're issued. Yeah, exactly. And so it's messy
Yeah.
at this point, and so I'm not, everybody's kind of asking the question, what do we do? So we're all kind of sitting back and going, well, I'm not doing it. Well, let's wait for a while. I mean, we're in a different type of environment. Kids share devices a lot of the time. Computer labs, different things. Their program for Hello Fax can talk to Google Drive. So what it allows me to do is it allows me to create something directly in Google Drive. It launches the application. I can create a video using WeVideo, and then it turns around and saves it back into Google Drive. So here's an example of it. I'll jump out and go to Drive. Oh, I'm offline. Thanks, guys. I believe you. Alright, we're back online. Now you see that, now I'm online. Yeah, alright. Come on. There we go. So I'm here, I'm in Google Drive. This is my big messy docs list. If I didn't have search, I'd go crazy. I click create, more. And then I have all these options. I've got floor planner, great for math. Gantner's, GeoGebra. Anybody use that? Any math teachers that use that? Yeah. They've got a web-based version of it. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. Graphing calculators. Graphing calculator by Desmos. It's great. No more TI. Expensive Texas Instruments calculators. Hello Fax. If you need to send faxes, that's
You
awesome.
have to buy it.
Yeah.
There's two video editors in there, Pixorial Video and WeVideo. And I'll launch WeVideo. But it's basically cloud-based video editing, and it's good, yeah.
Did you add to those, or was that the default list?
No, that is not the default list.
Right.
So I click create, more, and then where here it says get more apps, it will launch what's called the Google Drive apps section in the Chrome Web Store. And I keep checking back here to see what's being added in, because I know there's a lot of stuff coming. The diagram, like that's new.
This is why not on Google
Are you on
isn't
a-
long anymore. Look at this.
If you're not seeing it, come up to me after the session and we'll talk. And I'll see we'll take a look at your account. Yeah,
What's the difference between the Google Chrome apps and these apps?
very little.
Okay.
Very little, with the exception that these can now save directly to Google Drive. So a good example is that I created let's say I go in here, I create a video, we'll call it Summit 2012, create my project, and it's thinking, there we go. So it launches a full video editor, which is awesome by the way, because it's got so many great features. I can import video, pictures. It's got motion graphics built into it that you can apply to it. And so there's my videos, there's music that you can use, you can upload music into it. It is a robust web-based video editor. I mean, it's taking the next step. So then when I create my video, which I won't bore you with the process, once I do that, it actually creates a folder in my
This is sweet.
Drive here. Let me zoom down here, all these folders. It's a WeVideo folder, and so it stores them automatically when I basically say send it to Google Drive when I'm done with the video. And look at that. Didn't I just type Gate Summits? Yeah, I think I did. No, that was already there.
Summit 2012.
Summit 2012. That was pretty fast, right? That added that really quickly. And then here's an example of a video I did create. Oops, actually, let me find that. So that it opens it up and then I can see what it's like. So I've created a video, then I can So that was all just done quickly on the fly in this video editor that now links up to Google Drive, which is pretty awesome. And they give you a number of minutes of exporting free every month, which is kind of cool for student projects. They say it's collaborative, don't believe them, because it's not. You can upload video clips and that's pretty much it. It's not really collaborative, but it's a great feature. So back to the Drive apps. They all just basically link out to websites that then allow you to create and do something and then save it directly in Google Drive. So it's a nice seamless solution. I don't have to send my kids off to a website to create it, like go here, log in, do this, do that. It automatically logs them into WeVideo and then does the process automatically. So that's a real nice solution. And just one second. I'll answer your question. So if you attended like Jim Till's media kits, I think it was digital media kits. So you can pre-prep a bunch of things in Google Drive for your kids, share that folder with them, they have all the resources, they can upload the individual pictures or sound clips or whatever you compiled for them and actually create something a lot more rapidly. Alright, question?
If you have moved to Drive and the person who you're trying to collaborate with is still on Docs, are you going to have a problem?
No, you will not. That's a great question. And what if you don't like Drive? What if you're like, this sucks? Oh my god, what did I do? What did I get myself into? You can actually for a period of time, it can go back to the old version. And it's under the gear setting here in Drive. And then temporarily use the old look. And then it shows me this old view that, what you might be more accustomed to or used to. So you're ready, so when you're ready to go to that next step, like, I can do it. I'm ready, I think I'm ready. You can jump over and do that. So that's actually probably pretty good, especially like the new version of it, if you look, this is what we were used to when we were using Google Drive before, Google Docs before. It did some changes here and you'll see that it's now My Drive, and that's basically what's being synced or shared with me. It's just a little bit different layout. Alright, let me jump back to my presentation. So Drive apps, awesome. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier using a website, that you could create a website to publish to or something.
Create a website to publish to.
It was in your slide, I think, that you could do with the Drive.
In a doc. Yeah, I'll show you how to do that in a second. Sure.
But basically what I'm wondering is, if you can, like I want to use Drive as a cloud storage and sort of management system for lesson plans
Okay.
and curriculum materials.
Perfect.
And share certain things with certain teachers. So I'm just sort of, I don't want it to get lost in their Drive when they have other documents that they're going to be managing on their own. So I'm wondering if I could publish them to some kind of site or I'll bring some attention to them.
Well, you can do, I think Molly showed, I could link, basically what I could do is I could create a link somewhere. Let's say that I had a class, or let's say I had a Google site that we were using for collaboration. I can take one of these folders, I'll take this folder, Apps Training Center. And when I click it, there's a little tiny button to the side there. If I click it, I click share. 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 Oh, sorry, share. Duh. Share. And just like I normally can share a document, I can share a folder, but here's what happens when I copy that link into a new tab. You see, it opens it up in this view, which makes it a little more palatable for teachers, and it can be rearranged for, let's see, oops. So it makes it a little bit easier for the teachers. So if you wanted to create it, basically have that folder, share it with them, and it will get lost in their drive, right? But then you could just basically copy that share link and then create this, and it makes it a lot easier for them to view all of these things in one single place. And then you can see the individual documents, and it's loading, it's thinking. So we got the folder, content, all those things. So, anyways, that's probably the best way to approach it. Yeah.
Like Google Docs, can you make a folder public? Or do you
Like
have
Google
to-
Docs. Yes, you can, and that's basically what I can do here. If I go back to this share, this one right now is actually public on the web. Anybody can find this and view it, and what this is actually a folder for the Google Apps EDU Training Center. So all of these docs are actually publicly available on the Google Apps EDU Training Center, which if you haven't been to, I highly suggest you visit it. Oops. So then all of these things can now be publicly available to anybody. And you see it, all these are just public docs now. Embedded, things like that. And this, if you asked about publishing a web page, this is a Google Doc published as a web page right here.
That's what you said, you said
Yep.
webpage with docs published.
Yep.
So,
So it's a Google Doc published as a web page.
how did you do it?
How do you do that? You go File. So I'm in a Google Doc that I've created. I click File, Publish to the web. And then I just basically, I can control it too. I can control it whether it
Sweet.
automatically republishes or not. So like, let's say I wanna work on revisions but not make them public yet. I can revise it and then check it and it's good to go. Alright, let's jump out. I'm gonna whip through the rest of this and let's try to collaborate on a couple documents, what we can here. Video playback. A quick just note on video playback is the fact that you can upload Windows media files, MPEG-4 videos, all those kinds of things, and actually play them directly back in Google Drive, which makes it significant that you don't have to worry about different codecs and different things. You know, I don't have iTunes installed on my computer or QuickTime or anything like that. And then photo sharing, I can share it with Google+. So that's pretty cool. And then you can share those cool pictures of yourself. It's lost on the people that are far back. There you go. There you go. And there's backup. So where's it going? As quickly, a quick summary, it's going mobile more and more. Right now you notice it's not very good on the iPad. Android experience is better, but not significantly better. But it is moving in that direction so that we'll have more and more kids with tablets, and adults with tablets, editing and collaborating on the fly.
Apple and stuff.
Alright, so,
Yeah.
quick summaries. Why is it, what is it? Think about those questions. I wanna jump into the doc, into our site, and actually collaborate. So here's the URL again, bit.ly, G-Drive 101. Here's some resources for you to look through at any point after today. It is going to be linked again on the resources site. But I've laid it out on the left-hand side is all learn, so learning about Google Docs and Google Drive. And all of these links will take you to specific things that you can learn about. Forms, spreadsheets, presentations, app scripts, things like that. And then there's some do's. There's also use cases. And there is a thing here that says more resources, tons of resources. If I click that, it's going to take me to a web page with more than enough information. So templates, I mean, basically it's a huge resource. I didn't want to clutter up the single page with it, but. Alright, so go to the bit.ly/gdrive101, and there's a Google form that I've embedded here for activity 1. So if you click down here under do, docs activity 1, it'll take you down here. Fill this form out really quick with your Google account, whether it's your school email address or your personal email address, whichever one you use. Oh, that was a terrible. Yeah, thank you for catching that. And I used this like 3 or 4 times and nobody's even mentioned that. Maybe they're embarrassed. They felt bad for me. Alright, what are you going to do this this summer for fun. That's terrible. What are you doing to this summer? Here's what I'm doing this summer. I am owning it.
You don't know where that is?
Yeah.
Do activity
Or
one.
I'm being owned by this summer. I don't know.
What's that website?
It's- I can't, school got out like June 15th, and I think the month is gone now. Jeez. Ugh. But I'm year round, so it doesn't matter. Really. So what's your role? So fill that out and submit it, and then when you see, once you're done with that, scroll down to activity 2, or just above activity 2, and check out the spreadsheet, so we can kind of see who's there. Eventually it'll all start publishing in there. Maybe. Anybody submitted yet? Sure.
Can you cheat by clicking on it over on your D side?
What's that?
Am I really on it if I just clicked on the link on your D side? Or do I have to type it in?
The link? Which link?
Well, it's just on the page.
Oh, I didn't hyperlink it, is what you're, the form? You talking about the form?
Yeah,
The form is embedded, so you should be able to fill it out and then submit it.
okay.
So how many of you use Google Forms, by the way? How many of them love it? How many of you attended like a Fluberoo session or something like that for the auto grading? We won't get to that, but it's there further down on this page has the resources and instructions for doing that. That's like the one where like we've done it. So I've done it so many times that like the luster's worn off. But for me, at least for me, anyways. But it's so awesome to be. We used to have to do all this conditional formatting and write all these formulas. It was like it was terrible. It was a lot of work. It was kind of cool. It was geeky. Joe, did you do those things too? Yeah. So Joe's at your GCT, aren't you? No, you're not. Oh, Joe is not a GCT. You should be. So you're probably an Apple Distinguished Educator or something like that. No?
National Writing Project.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's even better than both of those. Anyways, so yeah, we used to have to do all those manual forms or formulas, and it was cool, but at the same time, it was a lot of work. And then if you try to teach people how to do it and replicate with it, it was terrible.
Can you use Flubaroo so the kids get feedback on the performance right away?
They can't.
They usually have to, cannot.
Yes,
You
they
can't.
can.
That was my big,
Let me delete these. I forgot I added it.
that's my big hitch on it.
There we go. Spending time with my kids and vacationing at the coast. Lucky you. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna copy all these in there. Alright, I'm sharing the docs with you guys. And or after you submit the form, you can open the spreadsheet and kind of see what we're all doing. When I go to my summary of responses, let's see what people's responses look like. So we have, of all the people that have submitted this stuff, that's not good, bad data. Or district site. And there we go, we say Kathy is in there. Hi Kathy. It's Kathy Lorenz. Where's Kathy at? Alright, hi Kathy. So, this is just, I mean, it's Google Docs on the cloud, or I mean, it's Word on the in the cloud. I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it. But you get so many different features. How many of you have seen the research feature? Oh, well, if you were at the